Let me think about that one. Most important traits.
So learning, safety.
To learn from mistakes.
Coherence and diversity.
Fundamental shift in the view of the people working within the organization.
And we're back playing Jimmy cards. Jimmy cards are a deck of questions designed to trigger exciting discussions and challenge to change. Today's guests sharing their thoughts are
Staffan Nöteberg.
Jan Grape.
Martin Wasielewski.
Viktor Cessan.
Odhner.
Once again, there are no right or wrong answers. The questions are meant to be open for interpretation and to reveal different perspectives. Today's question reads, which are the most important traits of an agile organization?
I think that the shared purpose for the whole organization is very, very important if you want to be agile. Nothing makes an organization slower and more rigid than a win-lose game between departments and people when they're competing for resources. And resources that doesn't have to be people. Resources can be computer power, budgets, or special rules in the organization, or airtime or something like that. So shared purpose is important. And another thing, or two other things, are coherence and diversity. Coherence opposed to alignment is very important if you want to be agile. So you have some kind of shared story that everybody understands that isn't incoherent. And diversity is important if you want to adapt to unexpected changes. If you have diversity, it's more likely that you have the competence you need for something that you hadn't expected up front. But you note there that you need to balance the agility with flow and resource optimization. So it's not a goal to be 100% agile, because then you will never produce anything. Then you will only be prepared for whatever happens so that you can adapt. You also need to be able to optimize your flow and to exploit things where you have the best practice.
For me, there are three main areas of important traits for an agile organization. And number one is a fundamental shift in the view of the people working within the organization. We talk about people being knowledge workers, that you know better how to do your job than a manager because you got skills that managers don't need to have. So that means you have to lead in a different way. Managers' role changes. So instead of them being at the forefront, trying to push people to deliver things, their job is to build the system and environment that can generate the results instead. That involves flipping the pyramids. Sometimes we say that managers are supporting everybody in the pyramid, or servant leadership is another name of the same thing. Also, there has to be trust in the organization. You have to trust the ability of the people. That you've hired smart people, and smart people can actually do what they need. You hire skilled people, and they have the skills to do it. And if they don't, they can acquire those skills. So you can train them, and you have to, which leads into that learning is a really important part of the organization. So instead of trying to hire people with all the knowledge, you hire people that you want to work with. And then you acquire the knowledge you need as you go. So that's number one, the fundamental shift in the view of people working in the organization. Number two is in an agile organization, there is plenty of feedback. There's something you strive for all the time. You want to find out, are our products and services successful? Do they solve real problems for the end users and satisfy their needs? And do they fulfill the technical quality requirements that people have and the expectations that people have on our products? But also feedback when you're questioning, are our internal processes, organization and architecture effective and efficient? So inside we generate feedback having retrospectives and reviews and stuff. And you want to see that these feedback loops are not only as a consequence of specific process occasions like retrospectives, but that it happens all the time as a natural part of it. And the third trait I find really important for agile organizations is the ability to change processes, organization, and architecture. It's not what your architecture and organization and processes look like right now. So it's not whether you have adopted a specific framework or not. It's your ability to adapt and shape and create the processes, organization, and architecture you need right now. So for example, when people say that we want to be like Spotify, so we apply the Spotify model, let's introduce tribes and chapters and stuff. Well, that's not actually the secret sauce for Spotify. It was the ability to find those things and then evolve to that, and then also later away from that into what they need to be at this moment in time. So I think those three things, fundamental shift in the view of people, plenty of feedback from market, but also internally, and then the ability to change and modify your own organization, processes, and architecture.
In my opinion, it would be an ability to learn, coupled or hand in hand with an ability, or they've realized that they are wrong in most cases, or there's a risk that we are wrong. So let's find a way to, as quickly as possible, validate whether we're on the right track or not. And enable to do that, to validate if we're on the right path, then the trait of having a willingness to learn and also fail, and having sort of a mindset that I'm likely not wrong. I'm more right. I'm likely more wrong than I am right, or in most cases. The organizations that have had these traits have, in my mind, been the most successful at adopting an agile mindset and an agile way of working.
Wow. I think that like learning and safety are two really important traits, like the ability to learn, and you need feedback loops for that. So learning and safety, I would say, because you never know what's going to happen in the organization, like what's going to happen in the market. Like no one 1 year ago could have anticipated COVID. But the organizations that have been able to learn and adjust fast, like the ones that have had safety and have had the ability to learn, have been able to quickly adjust. So learning, safety.
I think that's a really hard question because there are so many different things, and it depends on, like if you work in an organization, you work on specific things depending on which organization it is, because there's always something they're the worst at. But I think the most important trait is to learn from mistakes and to have the ability to do so. And where it comes not having a blame game, allowing people to fail and all that, but learning from mistakes and thinking that's a joyful adventure, even if it's hard sometimes. I think that's the most important in order to be agile for you.
The question today was from a new deck I'm working on, the Green Deck. It's meant to become a deck of questions designed to trigger exciting and fun discussions between Agile coaches and Scrum Masters. If you have a suggestion for a question, that you think I should include in this new green deck, please share it with me in the comments below. The existing red, black and blue deck are available in my shop. There you can buy the physical decks, but you can also purchase a digital print-it-yourself version. If you wonder why some discussions and workshops seem to grind to a halt, look no further. Check out last week's episode, Recognize the Grown Zone. Until next time, explore, have fun, be safe.